Welcome to Stupid Publishing News for January of 2024. I'm your host, John Hartness, and this is stupid shit that people are doing in the publishing industry. And I really hope that this isn't going to be an ongoing series, but you know better just like I do, don't you? So, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified whenever I think somebody's doing something stupid in publishing, so I can tell you all about it. We're going to work backwards from the most recent to the furthest thing I can remember. So, most recently, Findaway Voices is stupid. Here's what they did. Findaway Voices was acquired by Spotify, I don't know, maybe last year, some number of days ago. Maybe 300, maybe 700, I don't care. Spotify owns Findaway Voices, and this week they rolled out a new set of terms and conditions that basically, oh no, not basically, literally gave them the perpetual transferable rights to make any kind of derivative work off of the audiobooks that you upload to Findaway Voices. Surprisingly enough, authors read these updates to the terms and conditions. Okay, like 2 authors did. But fortunately, they're authors with great big mouths, and they told all of the rest of us who did not read those terms and conditions. And we raised holy hell. I certainly did. I emailed Findaway Voices asking how quickly I could take all of my crap off their site, because no, you don't get to use my audiobooks to train AI voice narrators. Fuck you. Fuck AI. Fuck AI art. Fuck AI voice narration. And fuck everybody who's using it. Can I be any more clear in my views on that? Make your own shit or stay home. Get out of my pool. But anyway, so Findaway Voices put out this giant rights grab. This is some stuff that's so egregious that author beware would flip out and think it was a hoax, because it's so egregiously stupid that no one in their right mind would sign this if it was in a brand new contract. But since it just rolled out as an update to their existing terms of service, they didn't expect anybody to read it. And most people didn't. I filed it away as, I should look at this in a little bit. But then I was on social media and a bunch of author groups, and I saw people saying, hey, did you see this part? And I was like, oh, hell no. So they immediately reversed course, and within, 36 hours had issued a new update to their terms and conditions. And I don't know how much anybody has any faith in them to not try to pull the same thing in a few months. So most authors that I know are still debating whether or not we are going to remove our books from Findaway Voices and thus Spotify, which is a bummer, because having your stuff available on Spotify could be really useful. Having your books available to more people and not being beholden to Amazon is great. I want my stuff to be available in as many places as possible, but not at the expense of my work or the authors that I publish. So that is the most recent pile of stupid in publishing. But oh, it ain't all, kids. It's never all. Welcome, my friends, to the show that never ends, Stupid Publishing Tricks, Part 2, The Hugos. For those who don't know, the Hugo Awards have long been considered, if not the, then one of the most prestigious awards in genre fiction. They are administered by the World Science Fiction Society, and they are awarded as part of the annual Worldcon. That is not World Fantasy Con. Worldcon is different. I don't remember exactly what the full name of it is. Maybe World Science Fiction and Fantasy Convention. I don't know. It's Worldcon. Well, this past Worldcon was the first one to ever take place in China. And there were some questions when the Hugo nominees came out notably surrounding some works that were not on the final ballot, including R.F. Kuang's book Babel, which won the Nebula for Best Novel and was racking up awards and bestseller status all over the place, and didn't even make the final ballot, which a lot of people thought was a little squirrely. I was not paying a great deal of attention because I didn't attend Worldcon in China, and didn't vote for the Hugos because the only way to be allowed to vote is to be a member of that year or the previous or subsequent year's Worldcon. I'm not a member of Chicago's Worldcon or Glasgow's Worldcon or China's Worldcon, so I couldn't vote. I wasn't paying much attention. But I heard a little rumblings and it sounded odd. Well, there was fuckery afoot, y'all. Heavy fuckery afoot. There's a pile of stuff that they don't like, and there was concern among writers and fans of science fiction and fantasy that there would be censorship by the Chinese government of the works that were eligible for the Hugo Awards. So when Babel didn't show up, probably the kind of underground sentiment was that either in a best case scenario, maybe it didn't get many nominations because people figured the Chinese government would boot it off the ballot anyway, so why bother? Or worse, that it would make it onto the ballot and the Chinese government would say you can't put that on the ballot in our country. Well, it's worse than that, because it wasn't a case of the Chinese government putting their authoritarian foot down on the Hugo Awards. It was the people who ran and administered the awards pulling works from the ballot that they thought might piss off the Chinese government. So preemptively, this collection of people, none of which I know very well, none of which I am friends with, and probably won't be after this, but these folks yoinked the authors and books right off the ballot because they were afraid that it might piss off the Chinese government. John Scalzi said in an interview that, or maybe it was a blog post, I don't remember. But he said, look, if you're afraid that a government is going to censor your awards and you want to be seen as the organization that supports free expression and free speech and all of that, then you put it on the ballot and you make them fucking censor it. I agree. They fucked up. Most of these folks have either been censured or fired from working on the Hugos or have stepped down. And it's another black mark on the Hugo Awards that's been pretty beleaguered for about the last decade. And that's a real shame because the Hugo Awards used to be a big stepping stone for people's careers. Now, Worldcon is going to be a clusterfuck forever because, and this is me putting on my con runner and my event planner hat, you can't move a convention from city to city to city with brand new leadership every single year and expect it not to be a shit show. You just can't do that without some real central leadership of the convention. So it's going to be a shit show forever, and every mistake they make, they're going to keep making because of the way the con is built. But the Hugos don't have to be part of that. You can have an independent Hugo administration, independent from each year's Worldcon, and Worldcon is just where they're given out. But I don't know if that's going to happen. But I know that it's more stupid publisher shit. And just the fact that we are now 6 weeks into 2024, and we've got 2 of those already, and that's just 2, kids. That ain't even me digging hard to find other stupid publishing shit. Oh wait, we're not 6 weeks into the year with 2 major examples of stupid publishing shit. We've got at least 3, because kids, Tor did it again. After getting raked over the coals on social media for using AI generated art on a major science fiction release by Christopher Paolini, not his fault. He did not make the cover. Paolini had nothing to do with this, but his publisher and the art director for that book ought to have their asses kicked. And they apparently didn't learn, because their romance imprint just did it again. They just put out a new cover for a book called Gothicana, and it is the most obvious example of AI generative art. You've got little swirls on a wrought iron gate that aren't connected to anything. You've got random little pieces of gate that just kind of vanish into the background because AI can't tell what's going on. You've got weird swoops and things that are, and this isn't expressionist stuff. This isn't Picasso. But this is obvious, and I don't know if they hired an artist who then used AI to flesh out their cover design, or if they decided, oh, well, this is not one of our big releases, so we'll just use an AI generated cover, is bullshit, y'all. Artists are artists, just like writers are artists, just like musicians, just like actors. Don't try to replace us with quote unquote generative AI, which is neither intelligent nor actually generating anything. Also, you can't copyright it. So what jackass is going to produce a cover that you can't protect the rights to? Also, do not, in today's world, put out a major release with an AI generated cover and think you're going to get away with it. Because the internet will know. It took them less than a day to post tons of videos saying, this thing is AI, this thing is AI, this thing is AI, this thing is AI. And AI is learning how to draw hands and feet now, so it's not like it was 6 months ago. These machine learning tools are getting better at mimicking actual art, but they're still not creating. So hire an artist, work with a real human being to make your covers, and if it sounds like I'm an elitist prick on this particular case, I am. And I'm always gonna be. It's in our contracts that that authors can't use generative AI and artists can't use generative AI. And I work with a very tight, limited stable of artists to make sure that that doesn't happen in our work. And the artists that we use, I'm always talking to them about how do we make sure that the stock images we're using aren't created with AI. And yes, there are filters, but the filter is counting on the person uploading the AI bullshit, to be honest. So your artists, if they're working with stock elements, they have to know where those things are coming from. And all of that kind of stuff is why you work with a professional cover artist. And as an art director, I am the de facto art director for Falstaff Books because I don't have anybody else to do it. So I am the de facto art director. I'm the one, the buck stops with me. And that means that if something comes out that's got AI in it, it's my fault. And I screwed it up. But man, if you are one of the biggest publishers in genre fiction, Get your shit together. Do your job. Make art. Don't steal. Because that's what all this AI bullshit is at the end of the day. It's theft. It's farmed from somebody else's work. So stop it. I think that is a month's worth of stupid publishing shit. And like I said, I would love for this not to be a regular segment, but people suck, so it probably will be. So I'll see you next time out there on the interweb.